So I'm testing out the new Allen 9000 modified Sega Dreamcast arcade stick using my Sega Dreamcast and a bit of GIGA WING. Best played on a CRT monitor if you have one, for the fastest reflexes. Tell me that just doesn't look cool right there. Here is a mighty Sega Dreamcast controller, the likes of which the universe has never seen before until now. It's the Allen 9000 modified Sega HKT-7300. I previously reviewed this controller in its stock form, and it was a great controller. It's a very good joystick for the Sega Dreamcast, good for fighting games and spaceship shooters. But over the years, the buttons started to stick, and I contacted my friend Alan, who makes those awesome Allen 9000 controllers. You can buy them on eBay. He makes controllers for the Master System and the MSX, and he said he'd take a swing at modding the buttons for my Dreamcast controller and doing something cool with the stick, and here it is. It looks great. The Allen 9000 modified Dreamcast controller. The stick was in pretty good shape, so he didn't replace the arcade stick, but he did put a new ball top on there, and I believe these are Sanwa buttons, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, which I'm probably not, but those of you who are into this stuff probably know what I'm talking about. Needless to say, they don't stick anymore, and they feel great. And I did some reading on the internet, so this was actually a pretty tricky thing to do, which is why I knew I couldn't do it. I'd have made a mess of it. And Alan said it was pretty tough, but here's a close-up look at the buttons, which look and feel great. These feel as good as they look. And I actually used this controller just last week to get my high score in GIGAWING on the Sega Dreamcast. So watch the original review, and you can see what this controller looked like previously. It just had green buttons. But I opted for a Sega Dreamcast look. In fact, I told Alan to be creative, and he suggested this, and I said, yes, that sounds perfect. I love the ball top. That's really nice. So if you need a Dreamcast stick modded, I guess Alan is your guy. Just Google Allen 9000. As a Dreamcast fanatic, I absolutely love this thing, so thank you again, Allen 9000. I'm actually not sure if he's taking other mod jobs, but you can find him at allen9000.com, and he does great Sega Master System controllers. I reviewed one of his a couple months ago and use it for all of my Sega Mark III and Master System reviews. The cool thing about this controller is that it plays as good as it looks. And it looks spectacular. It really needed new buttons. The buttons were the weak link on this Dreamcast controller. The arcade stick, the HKT-7300. I'm pretty sure that Sega just pulled numbers out of a hat when they were assigning them to their various products over the years. I was planning to actually do this mod myself until I read about how difficult it is, because I think you had to drill larger holes for the new buttons, which is not something any schmuck like me can do. The stock HKT-7300 is a good buy if you find one on eBay. They're not inexpensive. You can also find some other controller options out there, like the X-Arcade has a Dreamcast adapter, for example, and that's also a good choice. But nothing looks as good as this. It's just a shame it doesn't have wood grain, Alan. That's a high score at least for the day. Thanks. Oops, can't spell my name. Thanks to the Allen 9000 Enhanced Dreamcast controller. I'm putting pressure on Alan to do this kind of treatment with Intellivision and Atari 5200 controllers. Because the Dreamcast arcade stick was actually a pretty good stick to begin with, even though the buttons just needed replaced. But the Intellivision and 5200 controllers, someone should go back in time and reinvent those things. So Alan, if you choose to accept that mission, that's what you need to do. Go back in time. Please stop them from, prevent them from putting keypads and crappy controllers and joysticks on those things. Also, I feel like this needs a wood grain plate here that says Alan 9000. Just going to throw that out there as a future possible modification, Alan. Nothing says awesome like wood grain. If you're going to buy the game anyway, buy it through ClassicGameRoom.com. Classic Game Room is supported by fans on Patreon. Thank you. Now prepare for the Lord Carnage Club, where I celebrate these backers on Patreon by shouting their name in a volcano! Derek Langley. Beer is the trick. Stephen Chucknick. From New Jersey. Michael Fernandez. People not named Michael Fernandez aren't Michael Fernandez. Al Stiver. Woo! EDM! Jason from British Columbia. Philipp Straubenmueller from Vienna, Austria. Cue the thunder. Jeff, CapDauntless, Breyer. Cue the lava. I don't know what lava sounds like. It sounds like this. Jack Stavris from Australia. Ohad Kane, Master of Thunder. Chip Senkbeil, Fighter of Space Bees. Woo! Rick DeBarros gets the extra disco. Michael and Arianna Nelson, Fighters of the Future. That's enough disco, because now it's time to shout, Busy Signal! That's right, and keep the volume loud and the party rocking for Sean Zoltek. Really? No. Sean Zoltek! Sergio Matthias Hergert! Tubular. Will.